Hello there. I'm talking today to the 8 to 10-year-olds, and I've got a few poems for you and some discussion for us to start. But I want to really set you up for next Tuesday when I'm going to be doing an 8 to 10-year-old class each Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Okay? So here's the poem called The Bully Asleep by John Walsh. This afternoon, when grassy scents through the classroom crept, Bill Craddock lay his head down on his desk and slept. The children crowded round him. Billy, Roger and Jane. They lifted his head up timidly and let it sink again. "Miss, he's gone sound asleep, miss," said Jimmy Adair. "He stays up all your night, you see. His mother doesn't care." "Stand away from him, children." Miss Andrews stooped to see. "Yes, he's asleep. Get on with your writing and let him be." "Now's a good chance," whispered Jimmy, and he took Bill's pen and hid it. "Kick him under the desk hard, he won't know who did it. Fill all his pockets with rubbish, paper, apple cores, chalk." So they plotted, while Jane sat wide-eyed at their talk. Not caring, not hearing, Bill Craddock he slept on. Lips parted, eyes closed, their cruelty gone. "Stick him with pins," whispered Jimmy. "Ink down his neck," said Jim. While Jane, timid and foolish, wanted to comfort him. Well, what did you think of that poem? The bully asleep. But, you know, he wasn't just the bully, was he? They were bullies too, weren't they? And did you notice at the beginning that they said his mother doesn't care? I've found in my life that when people are unpleasant, there's usually a reason. There's usually some reason that they're unhappy, so they hit out at other people. And I think that's true of bullies. But I'm really surprised in this poem how the people who have been bullied by Bill Craddock suddenly turn into bullies themselves. Now, the other character in this poem, is Jane. And she says she feels foolish, but she wanted to comfort him. What does that say about Jane? Think about Jane, because she's quite an important character in this. And I want you to think about whether you've ever had any experience of bullying. Have you been a bully? You could have done to your little brother or sister, or to someone, because people only pick on people when they think they're weak. And people took advantage of Bill Craddock because he was asleep. And he was so tired because he didn't get enough sleep that he fell asleep in class. The teacher too seemed to be quite sympathetic, didn't she? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to think about how you could write about bullying, how you could tell me a story about bullying. You can either do it by doing as I'm doing now and video your story, or you can write to me. You can do it to Sheila at focustheatre.co.uk, or you can do it to Manda Hall. Just send a message to me via Manda Hall. I'd just like you to tell me your experience of bullying, what you think about it, and do you think you've ever been tempted to be a bully? Oh dear, I hope I'm not a bully. I'm a bit tough on people, but I don't think that's bullying. It's only because I want them to do their best. Now I'm going to do you another poem which I like, which is quite fun and may help you with your writing. And this is called Distracted, the Mother Said to Her Son. Distracted, the mother said to her son, do you try to upset and perplex and annoy? Now give me 4 reasons and don't play the fool why you shouldn't get up and get ready for school. The son replied slowly, well, mother, you see, I can't stand the teachers, and they detest me, and there isn't a boy or a girl in the place that I like, or indeed delights in my face. And I'll give you 2 reasons, she said, why you ought get yourself off to school before you get caught. Because first, you are 40. And then, you young fool, it's your job to be there. You're the head of the school. That poem is written in a way that when we first read it, we think it's about a little boy or a young boy. And then when we get to the end, we realise it's about a grown-up. And I like that idea that when someone's writing something, they set it up in one way and then they give you a big surprise at the end. And I'd quite like you to think of that style when you're writing for me, because I really do want you to respond back to me, because it's no good me sitting here doing all this and then you not doing anything at all. So I'd like you to send me either a poem or just your thoughts about bullying. Okay? Now, there's a surprise we've got. We are going to start a choral speaking group. And next Tuesday at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be on Zoom. If you want to join me and take part in a choral speaking class, you can do that on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, but you have to send to me to tell me you want to be on Zoom, and then I send you the code and the password. Okay? So here's the poem we're going to do. The Hairy Toe. Once there was a woman who went out to pick beans, and she found a hairy toe. She took the hairy toe home with her, and that night, when she went to bed, the wind began to moan and groan. Away in the distance, she seemed to hear a voice calling, "Who's got my hairy toe? Where's my hairy toe?" The woman scrooched down, way down under the covers, and about that time the wind appeared to hit the house, smooch! And the whole house creaked and cracked, like someone was trying to get in. The voice had come nearer now, almost at the door, and it said, "Where's my hairy toe? Who's got my hairy toe?" The wind growled around the house like some big animal was trying to get in, and over the chimney. All at once she heard the door crack, and something slipped in and began to creep over the floor. The floor went creak, creak at every step that thing took across the floor. The woman could almost feel it bending over her bed. And then, in an awful voice, it said, "Where's my hairy toe? Who's got my hairy toe?" "You've got it!" Yes, And that's what we're going to work on next Tuesday, 11 o'clock. If you want to join me, just message me and I'll send you the code to get into Zoom. See you next week. Bye.